that is discussing a wide variety of topics. I do have an in-studio guest who is a regular, but I'm pleased to announce that you are initiating, for the first time ever on our Sunday morning program, a guest format. And my in-studio guest is the founder of the Frontline Foundation, Ray Castellani. How are you, Ray?
I am fine, Frank, and it's an honor to be your first guest on your morning show. So thank you for having me down here.
It's my pleasure.
And good morning to all your listeners. But you've been on for a few hours, though, right?
I've been on since about 4 or 5.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a little early for me.
There may be some people, I know there are people that listen to this program that never hear my Sunday night show.
Mm-hmm.
Hard-working people that maybe have to get up Monday mornings, that are getting up now and sipping coffee like you are.
Mm-hmm.
And want to know, well, who is this guy? Who is Ray Castellani, and what is the Frontline Foundation?
Let me put the Frontline Foundation first. The Frontline Foundation is an organization that was founded in 1987, and it was I don't want to go into too much detail on this, but the basic thing is I was called, me, I hate to use that word, me, but I was called to perform a service. I was searching within my own framework of life, my own in my truck, going around the countryside in about a 6 or 7 month period, maybe 8 or 9. I don't remember. It's a long time ago. My memory's getting a little weak as time goes on. But and I just prayed to God, to an entity, to a power, to a source, to please direct me. And I cried and I wept and it was not a pleasant ride. I was living out of the back of my truck and just wondering whether my life was over, what was my next step in life to be. And I was up, I remember this one time close to Oregon, and sort of a feeling came over me to come back to Los Angeles. I had severed all my ties in Los Angeles. And I said, I just repel the idea of coming back to Los Angeles. I said, this is ridiculous. I closed off my bank account, my checking accounts, my everything. Just had my mattress in the back of my truck and wandering the countryside. Whatever road it would take me that particular day is the one I went. Anyway, the inception of the idea to go back to Los Angeles came and I repelled it. But as I kept driving, it kept forcing me more and more to go to Los Angeles, come back, and finally, I was almost like a compelling feeling one day. I just turned my truck around and started back to Los Angeles, and I felt relief inside. And I got outside of Thousand Oaks, and I said, "This is as far as I'm going." Now, I was talking to myself, and I was talking to God, but he didn't answer me back. But I got outside of Thousand Oaks, and I parked there. I stayed there. I even checked in a motel here and things like that. But another feeling came over me, too. I had a vision of Skid Row, downtown Los Angeles. And in my days, I had been on many a Skid Row myself as a human being. But this had nothing to do with that. This was a separate entity. This was many years later. And the idea was to serve food to the people, the residents of Skid Row. Now I'm really wacko. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I got the keys to this church, to the kitchen, in December of 1987. I made 111 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in that kitchen. It was pouring, raining, 3 o'clock in the morning, made a pot of coffee, rounded up a couple of buddies of mine and another gentleman, and went down to Skid Row on December 5th of 1987, and we served a few meals, these peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. At that juncture, the feeling that came over me was a right feeling. I knew that I had touched something very powerful here. I only thought it was going to be a 1 or 2 time deal, maybe 4 or 5 times, and then goodbye, I fulfill my conditions and on my way. That was 1987. That was about 700 and some odd sandwiches, meals the first month. And next month, Frank, and to all the beautiful listeners that have helped me from KLOS, next month, Frontline will surpass 1.5 million meals served. And if that's not a miracle, I don't know what is. And it's been done by nickels and dimes. People, the tears, the joys, the volunteers that are so powerful in numbers. It's a pure entity of giving, a pure entity of love for their fellow man. And this is what Frontline stands for. It stands for love. It stands for action. These volunteers come in and give of themselves with love, and it's something, again, to the recipients of this, downtown Los Angeles, Skid Row, which is the bottom of the barrel, so to speak, but the gracious, beautiful people of Skid Row, which most people don't want to talk about, they are part of it too. Yesterday, a man on the streets, we were down there, Carol and Craig, and we were down just in one truck, and we were down there, and we served soup. And one man came up to me and gave me $20 and said, "Here, to help feed the people." Because he always used to give me a hard time on Skid Row, but it was just his way of saying thank you, Ray, and then to help the people down there again. So that's what's happened. Frank, you have been a big part of this, because in 1988, I believe, I went on your first show on the Impact Show, and KLOS has been an ardent supporter of through the years, and many volunteers putting Frontline out on the into the public, both with the PSA announcement, your show, and everything. So that's about it, Frank. I don't want to. Me, it's just I'm just a guy and chugging along.
Now, in terms of all these years, and you commented 500,000 meals will be served as of a short time from now.
About 4 weeks.
Donations.
Mm-hmm.
No one gets paid
No.
at Frontline.
No.
All volunteer.
Right.
And as you say, nickels and dimes.
Right.
And the food is brought in.
It's a Frank. It's a divinely a divine intervention, whatever you want to call it. I can't explain it. That's what a miracle is, an inexplicable thing. I just follow whatever is dictated to me. I don't think up these ideas. I can change in a matter of a split second. As soon as the idea comes in my head, I'll change it. It could be wrong, but I'll change it again. So it's not a when the food is not there, I won't. That's the end of it. Because I'm not the boss of this. See, there's something bigger than me. But people are involved. People care enough to support 500,000 meals. That's what the people have done. I have done nothing. I want that understood. I've said this for many times. I've just been the person that's taking all the credit. Of all you do all the work and I get all the credit. But it's true. It's in the kitchen yesterday, the amount of power that was in that kitchen yesterday, and every day the volunteers on Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it is by that a $20 bill comes, somebody gives it. That's going to go into. I was talking to you earlier about I restructure things to make things work easier for everybody involved. With the main thrust is to give for the purity of giving, for love, and to help humanity. Because those are my beliefs. And I'm an action kind of guy. I could sit here, we could have sat here 8 years ago, this year, 1987 or 88, when you and I first met, and we could still be talking about how we're going to serve food to the hungry. Instead, we're sitting here talking about 500,000 meals and how you have been a participant and so many other people. And so that's what I stand for. So anything that works, I will try to make it work. I will. Right now we're low on which I was telling you earlier, sweets. So now I'm trying to promote another idea that was given to me, it was a couple of weeks ago, and to have hard candy and Tootsie Rolls, a little Tootsie Roll, miniatures of this, miniatures of that, and just get all I possibly can to put in these lunches instead of a donut or something, because I don't know for what reason, but I was cut short on my sweet department, and So now I'm asking the people wherever I go, and I'm asking your listeners here. I'll have my P.O. box. They can send in a bunch of miniature candies, hard candies, the peppermint candies, anything they want to send in, so long as it's pre-wrapped. Don't send me a box of See's candy. That's not going to work. But hard candy, you can go to Smart and Final, Costco, Price Club, all of. This is what I need right now. This is my quest for now. Next time we talk, it might be one other thing. But you went to the schools, and God, I mean, tuna fish is one of my staple items that I have down on Skid Row. Exciting to get the schools involved. Schools and churches and organizations, and my God, people are involved in action, and that's what Frontline is all about. It's not just for the people of Skid Row. The Skid Row, they help too, but it's the involvement of the city. It's the involvement of people that care enough to bring a can of tuna fish, or to bring, like now I start my thing with miniature candies. I mean, it's involvement of people to try to help people, so that it's not just a stagnated conversation somewhere saying I want to help.
Speaking of involvement, I want to get the listeners involved right now. If you would like to be on the air this morning, if you have any questions or comments for Ray from the Frontline Foundation, the numbers are always the same. Toll free to you, 1-800-955-KLOS. And we may take some calls in a little while. Anything at all, questions, comments about Frontline, how you can get involved, anything at all, 1-800-955-KLOS. Talk about the 4 principles.
The principles that are so ardently embedded inside of me are the principles of purity, which is just a magnificent principle, where the thoughts are pure, the actions and all these ideology of my mind, soul, body, and everything becomes into a pure state with nothing is intervening. There's no outer thoughts injecting into my head. I believe to give, and that's it. That's as pure as I can get it. I don't want anything in return. I don't want to hear any arguments or any talk or any people challenging me anymore on these principles. God, I'm just sick and tired of hearing the challenges of principles of mine. If I have to be crucified, shoot me for the principle of purity, and the other principle of honesty, the other principle of unselfishness, and the other principle of love. Kill me. Put me up against a firing squad. I have been on Skid Row for the past 8 years plus with those 4 principles. I have walked the darkest, meanest streets of this city with those 4 principles. They have lived inside of me. Those principles are in the eyes of the people on Skid Row, the bottom of the barrel, the sediment of our society, the beautiful people, and they love me for those same 4 principles. So if I am to be castigated, maligned, and belittled because I believe in those 4 principles, please don't talk to me. Okay, that's how passionate I am about these principles. And unselfishness is probably a corroding fiber of our society. Everybody is thinking about themselves. Me first. Me. I got to take care of me. If I don't take care of me, nothing else is going to get done. Wrong. I have not taken care of me in the last 8 years, and 500,000 meals have been served. So I've just threw that other thing right out the window. The principle of honesty, I don't have to talk about. Everybody knows about that. The lies, the cheats, the stealing, the corrosion of our society is corroded with these fibers that are laced. You sell an automobile that has been in an accident, and you won't tell the person that you're selling the automobile it's been in an accident because you want to get the money. Those are corroding fibers in our society. These are the things that I stand up for. These are the things that the people of Skid Row and we are communed together. The people that are at Frontline are communed together because I insist upon this kind of energy going on. I insist upon love because I believe that love, I've said it, God, years ago. It is through the process of love that I'm able to give with all this freedom. And if I don't have purity and honesty and unselfishness, the love I got is corroded. It's warped. It's not right. It's rusty. I can't say I love and lie. I can't say I love and be selfish. I can't say I love and be impure. So it doesn't work. And we get going on these things, Frank, but I mean, I am at a point in my life where it just doesn't make any difference anymore as far as me voicing how I feel. I believe in these principles. These principles come with me. I ask anybody to come with me personally on Skid Row, and you go with your principles, and I'll go with mine, and we'll walk down the same street. We'll walk down the same street at night and see who comes out the other end. And that's all. And anybody would like to do that with me, fine. But I get static sometimes, especially from, people that think too much. It gets me, and I'm not a good thinker. I'm not a very bright person. I'm none of these things. There are a lot of faults I have. One of them is I'm not too bright. I'm just not. And I'll admit that. I don't have any problem with that. But I am a man of action, and I believe in to give for the purity of giving, and I believe in those 4 principles. And they're the most. If you look at anything in our society today, Frank, because you're well versed in so many more areas than I am, but they're all laced with selfishness. The countries are laced with selfishness, dishonesty. Everybody is looking and searching for the truth. And the first thing today, all the listeners out there, how many people will come to you and say, "Can I get honest with you?" Like, are you dishonest with me all the time? I mean, I mean, is that not right? You know, Frank, can I get honest with you here?
Right.
I mean, everybody is talking about that, and yet it's so glossed over. So that's a fiber in our, and the impurity. My God, I mean, that is just puddled all over the world. The impurity of thought, and so what am I talking about here? Do I make money under the table? Do I make money over there? There's so many. Am I cheating on my girlfriend? Am I cheating on my wife? Am I cheating? I mean, so many of these impurities. Do I look at another woman or another man, and when I'm with somebody else and want the other impurity of thoughts that go on? I know because I've been there. So I mean, I've been at the very bottom of society myself. So I'm not preaching here in any way, shape, or form. But I have to. If I don't stand up for these principles, then I don't stand up for anything. If I've got to be fearful, which I don't have any fears inside me, but if I have to be fearful of what someone thinks of me because I stand for purity and honesty and unselfishness and love, then I don't deserve to be in their company. I don't deserve to be in their company because they're in a company all by themselves. And so anyway, this is. I have evolved too. I have the power and the strength inside of me. And that's what I have. And that strength and power inside of me is relayed to thousands of people that are in need of something, in need of just a touch, a compassionate look, a feeling of saying, "Hey, how you doing, my brother, today?" What's wrong with those kind of feelings? That's what I transmit to the people on the streets. That's what I try to transmit. Now, remember, I'm a man of I don't have a lot of patience. I don't have a lot of, certainly don't have any wisdom as far as when somebody comes to me with problems. I'm the wrong one. I don't even know how to, you know that. I've talked to you about that. I just don't know how to solve a problem. You know, black is black, white is white, and, there's... it just goes on and on, but I am a man of compassion. I understand how it feels for anybody to be down and out. I understand how it feels to have their child killed. I understand how it feels to have their child raped, murdered. I understand how it feels to have their child go to college and graduate cum laude and have a magnificent job and make $500,000 a year, whatever that means. I know what those feelings are. I have to feel both sides of the fence in order for me to understand, which is understanding. And I have to understand these things. So my understanding runs deep in both those areas. And then I am in wherever I am in that equation of life, whatever one wants to call it. But I must understand how it feels to have the joy of my son or my daughter being technician in the space thing, or also the agony of having my daughter raped and murdered or my son killed by a drive-by shooting. I must understand the person that's pulling the trigger. I must understand the recipient of the bullet. That's where my understanding comes in. And that's when I get that understanding, then I can see the picture of life itself. And that's where the purity and the honesty and the unselfishness and the love comes in, because it fits that equation of life itself. I cannot be one side or the other side, because then I am full of baloney, because then I am opinionated and self-centered and whatever those things are. So this is where, and this is where my soul is. So I bare my soul to you, Frank. I bare my soul over the radio here, and I say, this is what I am. I unzip me and say, take a good look at me, because I have no fear. What is somebody going to do to me? They're not going to do anything to me. If they shoot me, they shoot me. If they kill me, they kill me.
We have millions of people in this country that are hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about hunger, and why, of all things, is the Frontline Foundation feeding people?
Frank, again, I have to go back to the beginning. I was just directed to do this. If I was directed to have everybody have roller skates, I would have done that too. I am an obedient servant of a power, a God, whatever you want to call, to do what he wants me to do. Hunger was what I was chosen to do. And I have to, again, open up the area of me and say, well, Ray, did you want to do this? The answer to that's no. Ray, did you have different ideas of yourself rather than going to Skid Row? Yes. Did you want to do it for 8 years? No. So all these things, I didn't choose these things. These were chosen for me. I just followed the format. That's why I say I can't take any credit for this. But hunger, in order to move on to the next juncture of life, in order to be educated, in order to be rehabilitated, in order to see any kind of light, in order to be without the grind and the misery of today, if my stomach is full, I have a chance to go on to the next level, whatever that level is. But without food and substance in my body, I can't sustain myself. I will perish. In our city of Los Angeles, the wonderful city of Los Angeles, they don't even, in the summertime, they don't even give water to the people, to the residents of Skid Row. That I know for a fact. 8 million people in this vicinity or whatever it is, and nobody goes downtown with ice cold water for the residents of Skid Row on a hot day. Instead, well, I don't want to get into that, but and yesterday it was pouring and raining, and Carol and Craig and I and the rest of the Debbie went, and the other truck, we went down with hot soup. I gave yesterday at Fifth and Crocker hot soup to 10 gallons of hot soup on that street corner. And that's just hot soup. It's nothing. Do you think Mr. Reardon or any mayor or any Jesse Jackson or anybody like that say, hey, let's help Ray, help the people of this city? I don't see anybody coming onto the bandwagon, or not even a bandwagon, a broken down truck, and saying, let's help this man here.
Except if it's Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Well, if it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, get the cameras out, get the Hollywood stars out, and let's go do our number. And I'm telling that to the Hollywood group, too. That's a for sure. And I know you're all listening and really pay a lot of attention to me, so they don't. But it's okay. I'll challenge any of those Hollywood stars to come downtown to Skid Row with me on the streets where it counts, where there are no cameras. And then and see what beauty you can give on those streets because of your name and because of your power as an individual that you have achieved as an actor. Come down the streets with me and help my people. My people. They are your people too, because they are God's kids.
How many days a week do you feed?
6 days. I have, Paul and Bill and Penny and Debbie and Cooper. They go down on, and the children of Debbie. They go down on Saturday, and then I have drivers during the week. Mark and.
And how many days of the week do you need volunteers?
Every day. I need volunteers Monday through Saturday. Actually, Monday through Saturday. And they're divided into teams, all the groups. They're different groups, and I try to keep a volunteer for an hour and a half, and that's it. I'm restructuring Thursday right now, and I need one volunteer that's going to come in there at 7:00 and make some sandwiches, and they'll be done at. But I need that. I need a commitment, and I need I need volunteers. I mean, I've got a beautiful core. I got 200 volunteers. There's very, very other areas that volunteers work in. They pick up bread. I've got the bread picker-uppers. Without bread picker-uppers, I have no food. I have no bread. I can't make the sandwiches. Without drivers, I can't get them downtown. So there are two important groups of people: my bread picker-uppers and my drivers, and then all the volunteers. They're going to make all the stuff. So it works all together. It's really some kind of system. It's unbelievable, and it's a local. Last year, 58,000 human beings were served, or let's say 58,000 meals were put out at a cost of $50,000. I took in $49,000. That means it cost $1,000 to serve food for 58,000 meals. I defy any organization in the United States of America to make that statement, and I've done it for the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. That's a true miracle. $1,000. Now that's with the dinners and your dinners, Frank, and that has helped so much last year because it's brought in the income rather than take out the income. The Frontline 80 that pays for the rent, the product people that buy the volunteers that pay for the mayonnaise, all these things fit. The people that buy from the general store. I mean, these are every little thing works towards the entity of we don't need a lot of money. We don't need a lot of money, but the gas and electric. They don't say, well, you're feeding the people, and I still got to pay that stuff. And my gas going down, Chevron and people like that don't come to my aid. They'll go to the aid of South Central and give you all that, those cars and all that stuff, but they won't help me serve 180,000 meals if I could do that a year. They won't help me serve for 60,000. So that we don't care about.
My in-studio guest is Ray Castellani from the Frontline Foundation. And the numbers are the same as I gave out before. Toll free to you, 1-800-955-KLOS, 1-800-955-5567. If you have any questions or comments at all for Ray, you're welcome to give us a call. Let's take care of a little business, and we'll be back in just a few moments. All right, we're back. This is Impact on KLOS. My name is Frank Sontag. My in-studio guest is Ray Castellani from the Frontline Foundation. And we'll be talking about these issues until 8 o'clock when we switch back to the regular format. The switchboard will open up at 8 if you need information about whatever's going on. That'll happen after 8. And again, the lines are 1-800-955-KLOS if you want to talk about what we've discussed in the last, half hour or so. Now, you've said you need volunteers. We've also talked a little bit about food items that you would need.
Right.
Now, maybe there are some listeners that say, well, is there another way I can get involved that may not be so, well, my time is really short? I'd like you to talk about the brunch.
Right. Okay. We have a brunch that is, it's vital really now. The brunches and the dinners are vital to sustain Frontline in such a beautiful manner that we're doing. We have a brunch every other month, 6 times a year. We have a dinner, Frank's dinner actually, 6 times a year, every other month. This month is the brunch. Our first brunch is February 18th. This is a Sunday, which is 2 weeks from the day. And this is at Maria's Italian Kitchen in Encino, California. Obviously California, but Encino, right above Havenhurst. And it's at 12 o'clock on this Sunday, February 18th. It's $20. We received $8 of that $20, and the brunch is $12. And it's a magnificent brunch, and we have the whole restaurant to ourselves. And the same. It would be beautiful to come to the brunch and meet me. Frank may be at this next brunch. We don't know.
I haven't made one yet, but I think we're coming to this one.
But you might. But and then his dinners are on the following month, which would be in March. That's in an evening at 6:30, and that's a smaller group, but it's vital again to Frontline, because instead of the money going out, it's a little bit. A lot is coming. Not a lot, but a little bit is coming in, and so it's a tremendous involvement. It's a beautiful either evening or Sunday. And so, and I need the support. I mean, it's just a question of the need. I need this in order for this to sustain. It's a way. an easier way than asking for $20 from people, or $10 from people, or $8 from people. Just come to the brunch. Enjoy this room full of people that cares. The brunches are over 100 people, and it's just people that care, volunteers. This is an involvement again to help humanity, and it's just everybody wants to help, but they say, how can I help? Well, here they can help, and
the help is just going to eat good food, and
that's all.
Hanging out with some
magnificent
people.
food and hang out. It's about 2 hours. You're out of there. You're there at 12. Get there early if you do come. I'll give the phone number for the brunch only. This is for the brunch. If you want to come to the brunch, make a reservation. There's 2 ways to do it. You can call area code 818-508-4419. That's for the brunch. If you want to come and you want to send in $20, the reservation will be made right there. It will be sent to make your check out to Frontline Foundation. It's tax deductible. Frontline Foundation, P.O. Box 570303, Tarzana, California, 91357. And
we'll make sure and give that out again at the end. And for those that missed it, we'll post that in the KLOS Community Switchboard. To reiterate, the brunch, once again, is 2 weeks from today.
correct.
And if someone would like to make a reservation for the brunch, the number's in the 818 area code. It's 508-4419. That number is for the brunch.
Only.
Okay. Michael, you're on the air on KLOS.
Hello.
Is this Michael?
Yes.
You're on the air.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Michael.
Good morning. Hi, Ray. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Michael.
Yeah, I just want to praise God for your ministry.
Eh.
And I've been doing something very similar the last couple of years, and I just started going back to my real job, and I wanted to volunteer, and you just gave me the numbers on the phone. I got it all run down, and looking forward to meeting you at the brunch.
Beautiful, Michael.
This is exactly what my calling is, and my compassion for other people. I call my ministry Touch of Life, and
Beautiful.
I needed to listen to you this morning again. I've been sort of losing a grip on things since I went back to work, so now I know where I can channel some of my my energy.
Thank you, Mike. And Michael, thank you for the call, because see, it's your energy that helps me, because you said, "Hey, Ray, yeah," and Frank, we got the message out here. Thank you for that. That instead of challenging me, it's, "Yeah, Ray, yeah, it's cool, man. You're doing good.
You're doing it, Ray. Hey, this is what it's all about, or at least for my part of my contribution to life here now, and Frank being on the air and allowing this to come forth to hear other people, and I've been compelled to. I listen to Frank quite often, and it's just excellent that there's an avenue here to where we can touch other people's lives. And I've been limited in what I've been able to do in the last couple of months, but everywhere I go, and actually I'd love to get out there on the street with you. Your ministry is very similar to mine, and I've slept in the parks with the people for a couple days and hung out with them, and I've been kicked out of probably more churches than the Pope visits because of my sort of on-hands compassion, I guess. But a lot of organizations just don't have that gift, and it's a gift that's very challenging to a lot of people in the church. So
just remember, Michael, they put a guy on a cross for the same things.
Yeah, that's exactly. I feel like I take a few nails every now and then, but I do it in the name of love. So I just really appreciate your ministry, and I'm looking forward to getting hooked up with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
God bless you. Have a good day.
You do the same. Appreciate the call. Emily, you're on the air on KLOS. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, we need your radio down. Could you turn your radio down?
Turn your radio down?
Yeah, you're going to get confused. We need your radio turned down. Emily?
Yes?
You're on the air, sweetheart.
Okay.
Is this Emily Novak?
Yeah?
Oh, she goes down to Skid Row all the time with Debbie.
Uh-huh.
Right, Emily?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this young lady that you're hearing about right now, this Emily Novak. She's how old are you now, Emily?
8.
8.
Uh-huh.
She's been on Skid Row for the past 5 or 6 years. 6 years. 6 years. So since she's been 2 or 3, and she's been serving the people downtown. She's 8 years old right now. How old?
8.
8. She's 8 years old right now. So I'm telling you that, along with your brother, who's 12 or 13, 12, I guess, and that's who we're talking to right now. So we got them young in Frontline. But she's every Saturday she goes down with her ma, and that's another truck that goes down. And this girl, we got some young ones. We got also Josh Randall and his kids. They were young. They were down yesterday. But this Emily and James, they've been ardent young frontliners, and the people really love her down there. I'm sorry, Emily. I'm talking about you. Go ahead. What do you want to ask? You got any question?
No, but my brother wants to talk to you.
Okay, real quick.
Here he is. James? Hello?
James?
Yeah?
Yeah, how old are you?
11.
11. So he's been on Skid Row for the last 6 or 7 years, too. 6 years anyway, and serving the people. He's a beautiful guy and a beautiful young humanitarian. And so I compliment you, James, too. And,
Thank you.
Okay? And thank you for all the help that you've given me and the support that you've given me and Frontline. And you're certainly a beacon of light, the both of you, for humanity. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, James.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I think something about kids, we all had it at one time. We got that love. We know what it's about. We don't fill our heads with all these ideas and ideologies, and we're experts in this, and we talk about that. It's just, we give for the sake of giving and ask nothing in return, which is your creed.
Right. I believe this, in order for the world to change, which I think is going to be so difficult, the simple format of thinking about my fellow man has got to be put into action.
When you say simple, if it's that simple, why do we seem not to get it?
Well, because the main reason is selfishness. That's all. That's it. It's
and fear.
Well, fear is oh God. I mean, we have a whole discussion about that, Frank. But fear is the crippling fiber that cripples me from doing most things. I mean, fear will stop me from doing, because I've got to work in order to do this. See, my own thing in life, my own focus in life is to help humanity. I have nothing else going. My poor wife has to work. No. She doesn't have to work. She's been an ardent supporter of me for a long time, and plus a totally hands-on person down on Skid Row. She was there in the beginning with me on Skid Row for 4 years on those streets with me. So, but I don't have anything else in my mind. There's nothing else going on in my mind except how can I help people. So I have no, and the price is very dear for that. Prices. Nobody's paying my rent. Nobody, the struggle has been so hard. The debts have been so hard. You can be $100 in debt if you don't ever have that $100. You're always going to be in debt. And the price is not. I don't have anybody supporting me, and but yet it can't change my mind. I can't, and fear will stop that if I worry about those other things. And so fear is a terrible corrosive fiber in our mainstream of life. Fear of walking down the street, fear of my car, fear of my insurance, fear, just on and on. It never stops. Fear of losing, fear of having too much money, fear, just on and on and on and on. Fear of not being heard, fear of being heard. The gates, the walls that are built around us because of fear. I mean, it just does. It's a fear of getting involved. I don't want to get involved with a woman because you got that fears. Those fears are universal. Everybody knows about that. I'm afraid of getting involved in a relationship because I had a bad relationship before. I mean, we just go on and on and on and on and on. I mean, fear is all motivated by fear. Instead of giving to my partner and giving to the world, giving to society, giving to humanity, it's all, what's in it for me? How can I get it? I'm afraid to do this because if I do this, I'll lose that. I mean, it just gets involved, and I don't have those. That's not the way my head is, and I haven't got time to be talking about these silly little problems when I got to change my thinking many years ago into how to give. It takes a lot to learn how to give instead of how to take. All takers are losers. I love that statement. All takers are losers. I know because I was a taker.
The opposite of love has been said to be hate. I happen to think that may be true, and I think the opposite of love can be fear. Talk about love.
Love, Frank, let me say this. If I fill my soul, if I fill my mind, let's put it in a tangible sense. If I fill my mind with nothing but compassion, understanding, tolerance. There's 3 words. Are they so big? Compassion for my fellow man, compassion for the world, compassion for the society, tolerance, understanding. The result is puts in there caring, love. I have nothing but warm thoughts instead of cold thoughts. So the word love we use as a word. It's a word. But what goes into that word is compassion, understanding, tolerance, action, sacrifice. Because in order for me to be understanding, I must sacrifice my ideas. And who wants to sacrifice my ideas? God forbid. I want to go down to hell with my ideas because they got me where I've got right now, which is no place. So sacrifice. And that, as a result of these things, I become a human being of depth, understanding, like we spoke about earlier. And I become, there's no room for hate in there. There's no room for, when I'm understanding and caring and tolerant and compassion, there's no room for discord there, or cantankerous or bellicose feelings, good words. And we had to make a little levity in this giant conversation here. But love is the essence. Love is the purity of the end result of those principles prior to that, unselfishness. Love is the end result. I must, in order for me to survive, I must have this overbearing love in my heart. But in order for me to have that in my heart, that does not come first. That is wishful thinking. It is self-deluding thinking. It is, where is my action? It's an action. Love is an action. Love is not a dormant, standstill word. It's an action. I don't want to talk about love. I want to see what I do about this love that I have. What do I do for humanity? What do I do for my wife? What do I do for my children? What do I do? Do. Action. And love has to be coupled with an action. I'm saying is, if everybody's against me, that's cool, because I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But love must be accompanied by an action. I can sit on top of a hill and preach love until I'm blue in the face. But it's an action. Christ, the guy that walked around the earth here, never, he did things. We're only talking about his things that he did, not the things that he spoke about, but he also backed them up. But that, like I said to Michael, they put him on a cross. It was Mike, right?
Yes.
They put him on a cross. So those are issues of life that if I have no love in my heart, then I have no understanding, compassion, tolerance, or any of those things. I have nothing but resenting factors. I'm a resentful human being, but I love you, man. I mean, it doesn't fit. And if I'm full of fear, and if I'm full of, how can I have love in my heart if I'm totally full of fear? Well, I don't want to give to you, because if I give to you, I'll lose myself. Fear, so keeping me from love. And without, I mean, I'll die with that I'll die with these principles, and I could care less.
And you're convinced if we learned to take action in those concepts that you've shared, the world would change?
Totally.
You're convinced?
I am not convinced. That's a reality. That even goes a little step further. And I'll challenge anybody on that one, anytime, any place, anywhere, and I'll make this challenge loud and clear. They come with me down to Skid Row, and I'll show them what those principles, how they prevail. And that's just that simple, including Jesse Jackson or anybody else that wants to come with me. We'll wake everybody up this morning.
And they are waking up even as we speak. We've only got a few moments left. You're listening to Ray Castellani from the Frontline Foundation. If you would like to get more information about Frontline, their mailing address is P.O. Box 570-303, located in Tarzana. And the zip code there is 91357. I'll make sure and post that in the KLOS Community Switchboard. If you'd like to contact Ray or help out, and if you would like to help out in a more direct sense, 2 weeks from today, Sunday, February the 18th, is the Frontline Foundation brunch. Been huge, from what I hear. You're getting scores of people.
Yeah, beautiful. It's a happening.
and if anyone is interested in possibly attending that, you can call the following number for a reservation for brunch in 2 weeks. And as you said, I haven't made one yet, nor has Tammy, but I think the 18th is. I think we're going to roll. I think we're going to do it. The number to get reservations for the brunch is in the 818 area code. It's 508-4419. Now, this is for the brunch only, 818-508-4419, and I'll post that in the switchboard as well.
And, Frank, can I ask for one thing?
Sure, we've got 3 minutes left. Please do.
If anybody is out there, I spoke about the miniature candies, the peppermints, butterscotch, miniature Milky Ways, but go the most economical way for anybody. But please, if you can, send me in as much of these candies, the hard candies, anything pre-wrapped, to the P.O. Box 570-303, Tarzana, 91357, California, because this is what I need right now. And wherever I go for the next while or two, I'm going to be asking for these hard candies or Tootsie Rolls. I know at the Smart and Final they had for $4.50 you can get 550 pieces of candy, and then I can put 5 pieces in a sack, and I just got to develop this own system now so that I won't be, when people don't donate to me, then I'm stuck. So I don't want to be stuck again, and I certainly got stuck. So any help in that department, just mail it to the P.O. Box.
Or if they come to the brunch,
they come to the
bring
brunch,
it to the brunch?
Yeah, bring it. That's fine. You know, the little miniatures cost a couple of bucks. I guess it might cost another $1.50 to put it in the mail, but whichever way you want to do it, or come by the front line. Yeah. They can contact me at the brunch or KLOS.
Okay. We've got about a minute left, and then we're going to switch to playing that music that we all love.
Frank Sinatra?
Well, yeah, sure. We'll play him. What do you want to say in closing, Ray? And thanks for coming down and being the first of hopefully many more to do this program on early Sunday mornings.
I just, again, Frank, personally want to thank you and your tremendous support for what I've done, and certainly never realizing going to be 8 years that you would be such an instrument to help humanity. And so that's my humble thanks. I always get humbled whenever you ask me some questions or say, what do you want to say last? But it's a humble. This whole experience for me has been a very humbling experience, and I feel honored, and I feel honored to be used as an instrument to help humanity in what little way that I do. And I don't mean that in a I never can think of the word, in a I can't think of the word. I'm not being modest. It's a reality in my head. I haven't done anything, and it's so I just feel humbled, and I feel honored to be used in this department. And I just hope that the message that I stand for goes to the people, and that they hear me, because it's my cry of despair for humanity. And in order for the world to change, we must fill our hearts and minds and bodies with love, and couple it with understanding and compassion for one another, and abide by those four little principles of purity and honesty, unselfishness, and love. And that's about it. Happy Sunday. I'm glad to be here.
I'm honored to have you here, and love you a lot, and I'm thrilled to call you my friend. And even though you say you're the vehicle and you haven't done much, I know for somebody that hasn't done much, you're up at 4 or 5 in the morning in the kitchen or down feeding people cold water in the hot summers or warm soup in the cold winters. So thank you for being such an inspiration.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's 8 o'clock straight up. This is KLOS Los Angeles.